Welcome to Veronica Live, and we are here with Congressional Candidate Rhonda Woodward. She is back to join John and I on Veronica Live. Welcome back, Rhonda.
Hi, thank you. I'm so happy to be back. Thanks for having me.
Well, and you have been a busy lady. We are in the last sprint mode here. Our primary is August 20th, and John and I were talking before you came on because I'm a huge Rhonda Woodward fan, and I've been trying to help you get elected here. And we've been rallying people left and right. Like after church, I went to church on Saturday night, and somebody was like, Veronica, who do I vote for? and why do I vote for Rhonda? And people have been texting me every single day, actually. So how's the campaign going? And how, what have you been up to?
So we've been out. I think my most recent thing today, I was at the Rotary Club. This weekend, we were out at the Possum Festival. So we've been busy and having a great time. And we get a lot of positive feedback. Everybody's pro Rhonda. If I get to talk to them and tell them what I'm about and why I'm working so hard to get out there and give them a choice, they're all on my team. So I really think that we stand a very good chance of winning this thing.
Well,
so they're all done with done too, huh?
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, we don't need a fifth term. We don't need a fifth term of somebody who's going to fold and let the Democrats keep going with whatever they want. And hopefully we'll have Trump back in office, so we'll really be able to push forward and make America great again and put America first.
Well, and I wanted to ask you because, I was running around Europe for 9 days, and the only debate that Congressman Dunn sadly would do, because I tried to put one on in Epic Times, National Press had signed up to be on stage, but he refused to do it, was on the Brian Rush show. So how was that hour, and how did you feel? And that was your first time interacting with him. And I listened to you from 1 a.m. and it was actually really hard because my normal apps that I listen to would not allow me to listen to that station in Europe. It was really funny. So I had to like backdoor it in to listen to you. And I was so proud because you got to close the debate as well. So tell us about that hour and how you think you did. I thought you did fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. I feel like I really did strong, and particularly the finish was strong, and that basically to me it came off that I have a lot more energy and a lot more going on as far as this campaign and as far as plans for the future than he does. He seemed to circle back to the same old rhetoric about how he had worked with Trump for 4 years before, and it'd be like muscle memory and what committees he's on and so on and so on. And what I wanted to scream, but I didn't want to be rude, so I was just, trying to be kind. But I was like, I don't really care what you want to put behind your name, how many accolades or committees or whatever, endorsements that have been bought and paid for or whatnot. What are the end results? Look at what's gotten across the finish line. Basically nothing. He's only sponsored one piece of legislation that made it across the finish line, and it was to improve existing coastal barrier maps from paper to digital. It's just sad.
Oh my gosh.
That's your entire accomplishment in Congress. What a record to be proud of, huh? I'm astonished.
Well, and the negative side is really ugly. I mean, if you look at the things that he has voted for that basically rhino and that have allowed the Democrats to continue with this gaping open border invasion, that's sickening, And here, most recently, the Democrats in this local District 2 race have replaced their initial candidate with a young female attorney from Leon County who actually will get out there and work. So I think it's more important now than ever that people elect me because I don't have a negative voting record to bring me down. They can't advertise a boatload of things that I've done wrong. So I think I stand a lot stronger chance to beat this new Democratic contender than he does.
So do you think they're back into the comfort mode? That was one of the things with Steve Sutherland and why he lost was they got into this comfortable mode, like, hey, we're the winners and we can beat anybody, and then got their clocks cleaned. You see something like that? Is that what you're talking about with the Democrat?
I really, I think that Dunn's camp is feeling that way for sure. I think the Democrats have stepped their game up, but like Neil Dunn, even people have told me, we watched the video stream of that debate and he had like a smirk on his face and this and that. And I'm like, well, I didn't see that. And I was looking catty-cornered across it, but mostly I was just looking into a camera the whole time. But what I did get from it is, everywhere I go across the whole district, he doesn't show up. I spoke at that Possum Festival Saturday, and when I stepped off the stage, I was surrounded by people. One of them was a disabled veteran, and one of them was a local building contractor that were just fed up with this whole situation, that he doesn't answer. He won't contact them back, and he won't do anything that they need from him. The veteran was saying that, and then the contractor was really upset about workman's comp and how those rules play against locals. It never ends. I think that he is so used to not being challenged that he's just like taking the easy route and putting his feet up, and he just expects it to come his way. And I think that anybody that votes for him for a fifth term is just signing up to get more of what we've already had. I mean, we don't need more of that.
It makes you wonder what happened to that part of the election known as representative government. It's like it'd be not. People just want their representative to show up, and even if it's just to listen, but at least show up and care. I mean, that's people aren't making a big ask. And it seems to be the reaction. By the way, I'm glad you went to the Possum Festival, because there are some things you just have to do.
Which did you get to hold a possum?
I did.
It looked like you were holding a stuffed animal, and I was so jealous because I was still recovering from my European death march with no air conditioning for 9 days. That I was very
trust
jealous.
Me, that Possum Festival is very warm too. But yeah, it was really cool. One of the little local boys had found a mama possum had gotten run over, and he had several little babies and had brought one up to me to hold a couple of times. And yeah, my husband is going to be looking at all dead possums now because he really wants one bad. I thought he was going to beg the little boy to keep one. He was in love with the thing.
This is how we know that you're from Southport, Rhonda.
I know. It fit right in with the rest of the animals around here.
Well, today in the mail, I actually got the Dunn. It was a Dunn flyer, and John said he got one too, with this big old thing saying how he's Trump endorsed. And that was the one gentleman that was asking me about you this weekend. Is she Trump endorsed? And I said, well, of course she's Trump endorsed because he just went down the line and endorsed everybody, and he doesn't realize that Neil Dunn hasn't done anything, and we know he hasn't done anything because you've been to all these events and people have told you, and it's on his social media. And so tell us about how you'll fight for the America First agenda, and I want you there so bad, Rhonda, because I follow Matt Gaetz all the time on X, and he's everywhere, and he's talking to every media outlet, and I know that's what you will be doing as well. And what does the America First agenda mean to you?
Well, America First means simply that. We can't afford anybody to be in office who's not going to put America first. We need to take care of our own taxpayers and keep our taxpayer money here to help us. So for sure, starters got to be close to the border. But when it comes to Dunn, I think, the old saying, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So if you look at what his past behavior is closely, you're going to see that he does not align with the fighters like Matt Gaetz. I would align with Matt Gaetz. We have a majority in the House, and yet we could not stop the budget and close the southern border because people like Neil Dunn vote alongside Democrats to pass it. I would never do that. I'm going to vote for what's constitutionally correct and vote for America First all the way down the line, no matter what. I'm not a people pleaser, and I'm used to adversity. When you're a school principal, you wake up every day knowing somebody's going to be angry at you. That's just how it is. You cannot make everybody happy. You got to deal with parents and their problems, kids and their problems, teachers and their problems, and all the way down the line. So I'm very used to dealing with issues, and it's not a big thing to me. So I would fight very hard to put America first. We need to build up our defense. We need to get our, energy independence back. We need to bring manufacturing back. Just the list goes on. All the things that this whole crazy administration that we have right now has done to undo America, we've got to button down and build it back, and we've got to do it quickly, or we're not going to have an America left.
So Ron,
I'm honestly,
what do you think the Secret Service, since the Trump assassination, the stuff that's coming out about the Secret Service, it just shows how broke government is and how incompetent government is at doing even what I just say a basic fundamental job of an agency is just completely trashed, and it's all about politics and political correctness and DEI and everything like that. Do you think we're going to be able to remake the government?
I do, if we get the right people in office. I really do. I think there's still people that, have come up and pulled themselves up by the bootstraps like I have, and that have the right motivations for doing the job. It breaks my heart to see how so many people have lost trust in our government, because it really should be simple. It should be as simple as doing the right thing, and the right thing being, what's based on the Constitution, what's based on your core Christian values. But people have seen time and time again where they're lied to, and where this government has used, like lawfare, using the justice system to attack and do witch hunts, whether it's Donald Trump or different J6 people or whomever they want. So they're wielding it like a gun to whomever they don't like and whoever won't tote their narrative and do their bidding. And people are even getting scared to click a like button on Facebook or on X. It is getting out of control, and we have to hope, pray, and support Donald Trump to get him back in office, because Joe Biden was a clown, but this Harris administration is just, I can't even fathom how that would play out.
Oh my gosh.
I understand why people are disenfranchised, but I hope to be part of a solution. And I don't think that it's fair to expect somebody who's been part of the problem to turn around now and think that they're going to be part of the solution. And that's what I feel like Neil Dunn's trying to say that he'll do, but he won't, because he never has.
I don't think he has a leadership gene. You look at people like a Matt Gaetz or Byron Donalds, Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're just different. In going out and taking charge of their responsibilities and why they were elected. They get it. They understand it. And you just can't change. Particularly if you're older, like Mr.
John,
Dunn is, you just can't change.
Say, because somebody challenged me on X, they're like, look at Donald Trump's schedule. He hasn't done anything. And I was like, I've been part of Donald Trump's life since 2015 and 16 when I worked to get him elected. And the man is a freaking Energizer bunny.
Right,
and that's the thing. I don't feel like Neil Dunn has been an Energizer bunny. And now it's just, they're going to elect me because I'm there. And that's why we need Rhonda. Because Rhonda's going to be a Matt Gaetz and a Byron Donalds. And these people, Trump has the money. He doesn't need to do this, but he does. He's not asleep at the wheel like a Biden,
Well, what's the old saying about leadership? It's like lead, follow, or get out of the way, right? Isn't that the military mantra?
Oh, my gosh.
And that's
and I
that's
agree.
The kind of leader we need.
And right now, I feel like get out of the way. You've had your turn. We're not well with it. We need to push forward. We've got to have somebody with a backbone, somebody like, Matt Gaetz and MTG that just got a little bit of, I don't give a rip, and I'm going to do what's right, come what may. It takes some of that to get that ball across that finish line. And right now, I'm tired of playing politically correct. I'm tired of everybody shining everybody else's boots and nobody getting anywhere. It's got to stop.
Got to stop. Yeah.
So true. Well, in my travels, I flew on a few airplanes, and when I was here in America, I will say there was a lot of Hispanics that they looked like they had probably just crossed the border, and I was feeling like a terrible person. I'm Hispanic, and I was like, who are these people? And so I wanted you to talk about what securing the border means for our nation. There's a girl this weekend that was killed by one of these illegals. He was drunk, and she just graduated from high school. And as a parent, how many times have we seen this now? And I'm over it, Rhonda. I want the border secure, and I'm Hispanic. And then are we going to deport these people back? Is my question. If I don't know who the hell you are.
I absolutely agree. We need to stop that southern border, and it's not not just for one reason, but it's a multi-front war that we're facing right now that's coming across that border. So we have the human trafficking side, but we have the drug traffickers, we have the cartel, we have all these people that really are let out of prisons that, hey, good for Venezuela and all them. They don't have to pay for it anymore. They don't have to deal with these people. They just send them on over, And it's gone from where we see maybe, some shocking story once a month to it's every single day some American citizen is being hurt, murdered, or taken advantage of by somebody who's a criminal. I'm sorry, if you come over that border and you don't do it through the proper legislative channels, then you are breaking laws that are already in existence, and you're a criminal. Call it what it is, Donald Trump has vowed that when he takes office, that's going to be the first act that he's going to do is use the National Guard to round up and deport illegal criminals, and he should, because one of the biggest pieces of that infiltration are terrorists that we now know are probably upwards around 1 million people that they have stopped that have terrorist ties. And that's the ones that you know about. But the financial burden on the United States is not even able to be measured at this point. It's unfathomable how much money this is costing for housing, for Medicare, Medicaid. They're signing up for Social Security. They're signing up for legal assistance. It's just ridiculous. They are giving them rights and more rights quicker than they're giving American citizens. We have Social Security at jeopardy every day. They're threatening our elderly and those of us who have been born and raised here and worked here and paid taxes here, with, you might lose your Social Security, but we can print money for them and we can print money to send it over to the Ukraine. It's ridiculous. It's atrocious, and it needs to be stopped immediately.
Well, and as you've been traveling around the district, are there anything that people pop out? Because, I know helping your campaign, someone asked, what are you going to do for the bases, because we've got Tyndall Air Force Base and then the Navy base here. So I wanted you just to talk about, is there anything that people have been highlighting to you, and then talk about the importance of our two bases here in our county that we live in when it comes to defense for our nation as well?
Sure. So I know locally having good paying jobs is important to people. And as far as bases, our retired community wants to know that they have access to great health care. So that's very important. And of course, at Tyndall, we have one fighter squadron right now and are bringing 2 more. So we're working on economical housing and more of it all the time. Those are important. But as a national level, I'm concerned right now that we're at the most vulnerable level that we have ever been, to me, in our history, because we have such an influx of unknown terrorists in our country. Our finances are in worse shape than they've ever been, with approaching a $35 trillion deficit, with interest rates that are as high or higher than our whole Department of Defense budget. Our Department of Defense, we are retiring submarines and ships faster than we're building them. So I would love to see our local Eastern shipbuilders providing those jobs by building more ships. And I think that we have to work on energy independence and get manufacturing and all those things back here. But we definitely need the housing and the jobs here in Bay County. And I would continue to push to support our military so we can continue to grow and thrive here.
Well, and on the national level today, Kamala announced that she was going to take, was it the governor? Was it Minnesota, John? I forgot what state he's from up north. It's Tim Walz, and he's so radical. Yes. Rhonda, so he's given illegals licenses. He's okay with transgender surgery and beta or the blockers for kids under 18. I mean, the radicalism of this choice that she's chosen today is just insanity. And how if you go to DC and God forbid it's a Harris Walz ticket that ends up winning, how are you going to fight all of this wokeism and craziness? And plus, if Trump wins, you're going to have to clean it all up anyway. So I'm handing you the mop to clean up all the woke up north. How are you going to clean up the swamp?
It's going to have to be a big mop. I mean, I think we have to join in like a freedom firebrand. I mean, we have to be in agreement together with the fighters and join in and vote together to stop this. We have to put away legislation that would allow for minors to even receive these kinds of things, especially government funded. It is horrific. If you're grown and that's what you choose to do and you do it with your money, I don't care what you do. You can add 3 heads if you want to. But there's no place for that, for the government paying for children to do these kinds of things. And children don't know what they're doing. I mean, developmentally, they say that their brains are not developed for a reason. And now you want to let them go and make choices like that? It should never be the case, ever. So I would fight every way possible with every fighter that I can get.
Well,
and you were
legislation to stop it.
And you were up close and personal with the, dealing with those kids, that you understand. It's like, they just don't have the mental capacity at that age to make those life altering decisions. No, and I've seen many children, you grow up. I mean, when I was a kid, we called them tomboys. They might like to go hunting and fishing because their daddy's doing their little. That doesn't mean they want to be a boy. And even if they think they want to be a boy right now, that's going to change about the time they get 13. People need to just pause all that and let these children grow up and quit all this craziness. I mean, where did this come from? This
I don't know.
In our vocabulary 5 years ago.
I think it came from the movement for the pedophilia folks. The NAMBLAs and those types of groups. They're trying to normalize this behavior. So that they can prey on these kids. I think that's exactly what it's about.
I agree. I've even seen messaging about how age is not a factor and so on, so that they can make pedophilia a normalized and common practice. And I think that is just gross. It should be against the law. In fact, it's supposed to be.
Yep.
Well, I on a joking note, my dad made me change spark plugs with him, and I turned out okay. So.
Me too. He did not appreciate when I took them all off and didn't know the firing pattern to put them back.
Right, you had to gap them. I'm like, oh my gosh, the things we did back in the day. But I wanted to ask you too, because Kamala has been very radical in saying that she's going to come after our guns and take our guns away. And I've been joking on X. I go, good luck with that, people. When you come down to the South, you're not taking the Southerners are not giving up our guns. I'm telling you.
No.
And now we all have armories, So I wanted you to talk about your love of the Second Amendment, because I know you've gone shooting, and I love to shoot all the time to stay bullseye, and I'm a bullseye kind of gal. So tell us about your love of the Second Amendment and how you're not going to allow anybody to come take our guns. It's not happening in the South. I'm telling you, John. It's not.
No, I pity the fool. Isn't that how they say it? It would not be a good day, right? I grew up here all my life, and I can tell you it would not go well. So I am a Southerner, but also I'm a constitutionalist. The reason we have that Second Amendment is because our founding fathers knew that there could be a time when our crazy government would try and get out of control and might need guns to defend ourselves and to right things. And that's why. I mean, no, I would never vote for any kind of regulation on guns, and I would never turn over my guns. I don't believe they should have laws against the kind of ammo you can have, the kind of guns you can have, the kind of bump stock, any
exactly.
of it. None of the red flags, any of it. Well, and, I don't believe that guns are the problems, because everybody that I know that was raised right, that grew up with guns, they don't go around killing people, ever. It's the people that are radical weirdos that are fed on this negativity and craziness that go out and do crazy things. It's not people that own guns and grew up hunting with their fathers. It's just not those people.
Very true. And I know, Rhonda, early voting is beginning here, and August 20th is the primary. And why do you want to be our congresswoman here in Congressional District 2?
Because we have to have a change. We cannot continue to vote with Democrats and to vote in a lenient liberal fashion and think that we're going to have change. We have to have change so that we can preserve a legacy for the future for my grandkids, your grandkids, and all of us. Because right now our country is going down the tubes fast, unbelievably fast. Like, I never fathomed that in 5 years, 4 years, whatever it's been, that so many things could go so wrong so quickly. And I know I'm bold enough and will stand up for what's right. I'm not going up there to be a career politician. In fact, my max in my head, I don't want to do more than 3 terms. I do 1, 2, and 3 possibly, but I'm not going up there to make a career. I don't want to be a lobbyist. I'm not trying to find an extra job or a new title or a trophy. Don't want any of that. What I want is somebody to do the right thing. And since nobody else stepped up, that's why I got into it, because I really believe that we have to have somebody, and that our founding fathers meant for it to be somebody who is representative of the area that they grew up in, who does know the people. And I know the people here because I've lived here practically my whole life. And I know from the Alabama line on down. I know the beach people. I know the country people. I know the farmers. And having worked with all kinds of people, it breaks my heart like to see them disenfranchised. Some of my employees told me not long ago, like, oh, I don't even vote because it doesn't matter anyway. They're just going to do whatever they want. And I just want to scream like, no, you have to vote. You can't just throw in the towel. You can't just give up. And I feel like people have given up. And if we all don't bond together and fight, then we might not have a country left to defend. And that's why I'm doing it.
So, well, Ron, I want to personally thank you for stepping up and giving the voters a choice, because so often, everybody says, well, we can't take on the incumbent, and sometimes the incumbent needs to be taken on because they've lost touch with the people they represent. And I'll be glad to tell you, I do vote by mail because I also live up in Georgia, and I've already voted for you, and my wife voted for you, and so voting's already going on right now. So
yeah, right,
awesome. Yeah, I voted yesterday for myself, and it was really cool to see my name there. But so we know we got at least 3 votes.
Yes,
that's right.
You know it. Well, Rhonda,
I'm really confident that we're going to win and we'll be able to make a difference. And I want to stay in touch with the constituents. I hear everywhere, like I went to Madison County and they were like so active and so amazing a group over there. And they were like, yeah, we hadn't seen him since like the first time he ran for office. He forgot about us.
Right. And he's trying for number 5. So that is ridiculous.
And some days it's just retail politics. It's just, like I said, just show up. That's all people want you to do. Show up and talk to them. It's not hard.
And I'm a worker. And I feel like it's a job. If you hire me to do this, I'm going to do it the best I can do it, and I'll be there.
Well, I was with you, Rhonda, when one of the constituents told you that they saw him before the first time he ran and right after he won the first time, and they have not seen him since. And I literally was appalled. My mouth was on the ground because that's embarrassing to me. And I know, too, I tried to get him out at a big event here on the beach, with a developer for $50 million. And he didn't, I couldn't get anybody to call back. And I know the people. So it's time for change.
It's sad, and I know issues are relevant to the people that are bringing the issue, but we had one pharmacist that came, and her issue was very dire. I mean, she was like, I reached out, nobody will even respond to me. I had a cancer patient who needed medication, but due to the limits that are on this one drug, I couldn't get any meds for this person. I mean, that's a life or death situation, and she got no response.
Ridiculous.
And he's a physician, so you think that would be like in the forefront of his mind is to do something in the medical field, but he didn't respond.
Well, I'm excited for you because I know that you're going to run with that football. And Matt Gaetz and MTG and Byron Donalds, they need help.
That's right.
They need help, and hopefully, we'll slide Trump in there with JD Vance, and it'll be the perfect world, Rhonda, and we'll clean it all up when we send you up there.
I hope so.
And August 20th, go ahead.
I was just going to say I recently was endorsed by the National RLC, the Republican Liberty Caucus. And I was going to say to the listeners, if they don't know who that is, they should check them out, because one thing that they do that I love is they rate politicians on their voting on a liberty scale. And I don't have a score yet, obviously, because I've never been elected yet. But like Rand Paul, for example, made 100%, Neil Dunn 55%. That
Right.
won't be me. If I'm elected, I'm going to be up there with Rand Paul and Thomas Massey and people like that.
Well,
scored.
and I know Gates and Byron and Kat Comack and Laura Loomer are all in the top 90s. So I know you'll be there with them with the RLC. And 55% is flunking. But I wanted to vector everybody to RhondaForFlorida.com. You're on Facebook, you're on X, you're on Instagram, and then August 20th it counts. And this is the day that everybody has to come out and vote for you, Rhonda.
Thank you. And I appreciate the platform just to get the message out there to inform people that you have a choice. You know, if you're satisfied with the way things have been going the last 4 years and you want more of it, then I don't know what to say. But if you want change, I'll be that change.
Well, it's been a pleasure having Rhonda Woodward back, and we are expecting her to be our next Congresswoman on August 20th, and we're rallying everybody to vote. Again, RhondaForFlorida.com, and thanks for joining Veronica Live, Rhonda.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. We'll be right back on Veronica
All
Live.
right, bye.